Right, so I'll tell a little story about mindset. Mindset and strength. Mindset and arm wrestling. Different instincts that people have, different ways of behaving, and it's about something that I saw that really made me understand, the base mindset that some people walk around with all day long, and you can see it come out in their arm wrestling style sometimes. Okay, so kind of set the what I'm going to talk about here. Okay, so it's 2006, my first international super match. Neil Pickup calls me up and he's like, Devon, you want to pull with the PAL against the legendary top roll machine, Taras Ivankin. So I'm like, of course I do. Oh my God, I've been waiting for this opportunity. Taras has been ripping guys' wrists back and bending people's hands back. We're about the same weight. And I'm like, yes, sign me up. So trained like a freaking monster. Watched Rocky, the whole Rocky series. Like, so I'm like the North American with the passion, and he's like the European juggernaut who's just a gym monkey and a robot. That's where my head's at, right? And so I go over there, and beautiful Dubai, right? It's a good card, lots of people on it. What a great time. But anyways, this is not a story of the matches, because I don't like that story. That's what happened before, because that's where I really, really saw something very interesting that I carried with me till this day. So I walk into the dorm where we're staying, and I'm checking into the hotel front desk. They're giving me my keys and everything. There's windows all around. But sorry, before I got in to get my keys, I go up to the door to get in, go to open it, and well, it's locked. It's one of those locked doors. Got the little pin at the top and the bottom. So, anyways, I just go in the other door. Anyway, so I'm standing at the desk, and I see Taras coming in the distance. And, he's got a tank top on. He's kind of glistening, because I think he just had a workout, and he's got shoulders and arms and forearms. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, oh, yeah. All right, this guy is the real deal. And I'm watching him as he comes up to the same door that I just walked through. So he tries the door. Doesn't go. Okay, so his instincts were a bit different than mine. When I went the other door, he just, boom, he went hard, and he pulled the door right off its locks. And I was just like, wow. I'm like, okay, that is the difference in mindset right there. I'm like, that is the difference between him and me. I'm like, okay, all right, I'm going to take that. And so that's why I always say do the same thing, only harder, because that was like it was the best example for everyday life mindset that I'd ever seen in my life, of just one of those guys that when faced with a wall just comes at it harder. Doesn't go around, just comes at it harder. And I don't know if it is more of a European cultural thing that, guys have that in their mindsets more just because of the culture, or whether, I know we have guys like that in North America too, and obviously I know that European is filled with flexible thinkers as well, and it's just different people have different strengths. And The ability to go like this is absolutely a strength, and I love it. I think it's super cool. Yeah, but I get a good kick out of it too. I just think it's kind of funny sometimes. Anyways, just a little story. Just a little story in arm wrestling and mindset. Do the same thing, only harder.
Whatever you do, you get better at. And a lot of your best lessons can be learned from watching nature. These are two ideas that were told to me when I was young, and I've kind of tried to always refine and develop my training with these two ideas in mind. It's made me play with all sorts of investment strategies and ways to try and get better and better at whatever I'm trying to do in life, mostly arm wrestling. It took me the last year and a half to this place where I've been in Way of the Giant Pumpkin. Most of you guys on this channel probably know what the Way of the Giant Pumpkin is, but for anybody who doesn't, it's basically I'm turning my right arm into a giant pumpkin. So the way you grow a giant pumpkin is you get rid of all the other pumpkins on the vine and you put all the energy in just one. And in a very simple way, that's what I've been doing, and I've been doing it in a very specialized way as well. Like, I'm just training for arm wrestling just in my right hand. And it's been probably the most interesting of all the fitness experiments that I've done. I would say overall, it's been quite successful. It's the first time in a very long time that I've actually managed to put on some size in my right arm. We'll see if it actually equates to performance on the table at a high level. I think it will. I still have, a little bit of doubts because, well, one of the things with this giant pumpkin training is I'm training it all the time, and I'm never really giving it a chance to really catch up and rest. So I'm like always pushing it.
A little bit about life extension. And of course, I'm always fascinated to learn about any of that kind of stuff. One of the things that we focused on throughout was nutrition. When I first went to Paul's house, I didn't really know him. I was worried he was maybe even potentially senile. He's an older guy, not senile, really smart guy. But I wasn't sure at first, because one of the first things that we did was we went to his fridge and he started to offer me some food. And I couldn't help but notice how moldy the cheese was. And when I drank the coconut juice from his fridge, it tasted like it was carbonated. It was so gone. Like there was so much bacteria in it. It felt fizzy in my mouth. And I didn't want to be rude at first because I was worried that he just didn't even notice. And then I'm like, yeah, is it supposed to be like this? And he said, yes. He said, this is the key to the entire nutritional strategy. Now, on a less interesting note, when it came to Paul's nutrition, he basically ate entirely animal product that was raw. So basically meat, eggs, unpasteurized cheeses, unpasteurized milks. He did have like a little bit of other stuff, like he'd have coconut milk, maybe some mushrooms, but basically it was all animal product. what Paul explained to me was that the biggest part of nutrition for him, which was something that most people don't think about, was bacteria and number of bacteria and type of bacteria. When he started to talk about this, I was like, oh, you mean like probiotics? And he just kind of laughed at me. That was just the beginning. So he kind of took it to a far end almost right away in our first kind of discussion about nutrition and life extension. And he had these cultures, these jars in his fridge that he showed me. And when he cracked the jars, it was like the strongest smell of death just passed through the entire room. And one of the cultures was a salmonella culture. And he took a spoonful and just ate it. This I didn't follow him on, but the entire time I was there, I was basically eating raw hamburger and raw butter. And I felt great doing it. Now, what it means and the theory behind it and why it works is he talks about bacteria and he talks about creating a natural ecosystem inside the body. Now, some people might be aware of the parks that have been had wolves taken out of them. And there's an interesting thing that happens. The parks fall apart. The parks become very, very kind of weaker, I should say. Without the high level predators, everything kind of falls apart in an ecosystem. And your body it's not just a human. For your body to work properly, you have many, many things that should come to a balance inside the body. And this is, a little bit frightening to what a lot of people believe. So to compare wolves in the park to this nutritional strategy and how I talked about probiotics and he laughed at me. One of the most important parts of the bacterial, addition to your nutrition is the very virulent strains such as salmonella. He actually took it to other levels that are even deeper, but basically the thought is that it is a natural process to ingest high-powered bacteria through the gut. So long as the gut is healthy and your nutrition is good, we are designed basically to eat this kind of stuff. And when these bacteria are kind of in the body, they do things like the wolves do in the park. And they go out and they kill cancer and they eat weak cells that should no longer be replicating. Now, what does this have to do with arm wrestling and what does this have to do with Cosmic Punch? I think that, there's a lot of lessons that can kind of be transferred in, if something makes sense in one field, sometimes it could be transferred to another. In arm wrestling, we make each other stronger through our energies, and that's kind of where the idea starts to blend together. It's a must as an arm wrestler to feel different styles, different hands, different energies, different intensities, and to have all those come together and make you a stronger person. So that's that's what I'm kind of thinking when I go out and I arm wrestle just a ton. I feel like I get a piece of all the people that I touch, and we make each other stronger, and that's the beautiful thing about this sport. That's the awesome thing about arm wrestling, is by going out and spending time with each other, we make each other much better. It's the more people you can bring to the party, the better off you will be. Cosmic Punch, Wolves in the Park, Dragons in the Sky. Go out and touch as many people as you can. Eat well, sleep well,